still at miles per hour. And if you are just joining us again, we are tracking still this tornado warning in Hillsdale County for us, our most southern neighborhood for us here, as we have this storm, this cell moving northeast 27 for us. If you are in those areas, such as Pittsford for us, as well as even Hudson, you need to get to your safe space right now, whether it be your basement or if you don't have a basement, areas away from windows, bathrooms, hallways for us. Even if you are currently in a high rise, it is best to get to the bottom floor for you. Now, we're going to get a better look here, or zoom in, excuse me, at the actual storm as it is approaching Pittsford for us, approaching the M. Jefferson currently and just north of Fountain Park. Let's look right here at our velocity. Again, not seeing much indication here from when we started. We're still seeing the greens, we're still seeing the reds, we're still seeing some populated area for us along the M34 for us and along the M34. Bringing back our storm relative velocity. Again, here with the greens and the reds, not as strong as first when as it starts to enter, again, just north of Fountain Park and heading towards Pittsford for us, northeast at 20 miles per hour. Correlation coefficient, some yellows, most likely heavy rainfall, and most likely possible hail as well for us. Now, I'm going to go back to our reflectivity, and if you are just joining us again, we are now issued for us here has expired now at the top of the 7 o'clock hour, as we are now in the 7 o'clock hour for us. But we're continuing that tornado warning for us here in Hillsdale County. Here at 7:30 for us as this storm moves northeast 20 miles per hour. Now along the M34, we're starting to see it move away from Jefferson and towards Pittsford. If you are in Pittsford, you need to get to coefficient, see if anything's getting picked up over in that area near Pittsford. Right now, there is no big defining debris ball to show us any damage here to any structures or any large trees down. But again, still in that tornado right now, this same storm for us. Here is our reflectivity again, and we can draw another cone to see where this is heading, as it is a pretty now wide storm here moving through. The most severe of it across the M34, it looks like towards Manitou Beach, which also is outside of our cone, as this tornado warning right now is extending through the most eastern part of Hillsdale County. Again, let's see when we're going to start to see this storm move a bit more towards our areas for us. Here we go, bringing it up, and we're going to move the box out of our way for us. Again, heaviest part of the storm is actually impacting right now, but that most southern edge here as it moves through, we're also going to be looking at it heading into Manitou Beach at around the midway point, 7:30 to 7:45 there in Manitou Beach for us. Now, let me get rid of the storm cone for us, and we can also bring back up and actually zoom back in to the storm itself to see if we're seeing any possible damages. This evening, we are at the top of the 7 o'clock hour at 7:03, and right now we're going to be bringing back up our velocity here with the storm that is in our warned area for us, just west or east, Pittsford, which is where it is impacting right now, starting to impact. But again, velocity right now in the area is nothing too crazy in the indication for when we factor in the winds for us here. Again, what we look for in our velocity are away and towards the radar, indicating rotation for severe weather. That's what we really watch for here. And right now, from when we started, we're still seeing it weaken. Let's bring back our storm relative velocity for us, and we are seeing a very need to get to your safe space if you are still into this red warned area for a tornado warning, still along M99 and still along M34 for us. If you are still in Jefferson, still in Fountain Park, still under that tornado warning for us. Now, we haven't gotten much damage reports here from this warned tornado, but right now we are looking at a bit of an indication here in Fountain Park. Getting a little bit area here of some orange force here as it moves on through, but again, what we're really looking at is either heavy downpour, or we're also looking at hail. Just southeast of it, look at those bright pinks. Definitely we're looking at some hail with this for us, with very large aggregates for us. But again, it is best to stay in your safe space if you are in Fountain Park for us, still in Jefferson Road, and just east of Bird Lake Road for us. If you are in those areas, you need to get to your safe space right now. And if you are Also along South Pittsford Road as well at Squaw impact for us here that we're seeing here as it moves northeast. So it's, again, best to stay in your safe space for us. And we can actually talk more about safe spaces here as we are this tornado warning. Still tornado safety, let's talk about it. Those areas still need to stay safe. So when we're looking right now at a home for us, a house, the best places to be here are going to be away from the windows for us. What we're looking We don't need to be in the garage. We don't need to be in the bedroom. Excuse me. We need to be away from the windows, away from outside. Best bet here is our hallway, our closet, or our stairwell, not on the deck or the bathroom. The best place to be if you have it in this here as we are in that tornado still for portions of Hillsdale County. If you're in a high rise or if you were on the roads for us, especially if you were area, duck into it, laying on your face and covering your head with your arms. Now we can go back here and we can track our storm for here in our neighborhoods here in Hillsdale County for us as we still have this tag, this area here, as we can start to see that storm moving off to the east. If we zoom in a bit, into Pittsford right now. If you are in Pittsford, you are going to be getting the strongest portion of this storm right now for us as it is moving into your area currently for you. You need to be getting to your safe spaces like I was just of the building you are in or out on the roads. Make sure you're pulling over if you can't make it to a building and lay in a low-lying area, covering your head with your arms. But now pause it for us. Let's take a more stationary that is warned for a tornado warning. Again, this is for a capable thunderstorm producing a tornado for us. That's what we're watching for. And we can get a better idea here of what we're looking at. Again, it is approaching Pittsburgh. Amendments there, including Jefferson for safe space for us right now as we are watching this storm move on. Velocity for us here through, but bringing up our just east of Jefferson for us and just south of the M34 heading right towards Pittsford. Currently, again, if you are in Pittsford, you need to get to your safe space right now for us. Storm relative east of Jefferson, again, as it heads right towards Pittsford. Currently, if you're still in those areas, get to your safest space right now. But right now, it is not as strong as when we initially saw it when the warning was efficient as it starts to move into Pittsford. Again, not looking at any crazy here, which really shows us extreme damage from a tornado, from a thunderstorm for us. Right now we have a few or hail. So let's talk about it here. Let's go to differential reflectivity for us. And we can still see areas here. We can still see areas where we have this most likely what is just before, just west of Pittsford, where currently that storm is looking to approach, currently get to your safe space for us. Now, differential reflectivity, again, what we're looking here is to identify aggregation for us of those certain phenomena. But right now, when we look and go back to our correlation coefficient for us, what we're seeing here in these oranges, trees and or housing and siding for us. That's when we see those bright blue circles on our radar, which we call a debris ball. Now, let's bring back up our reflectivity, see what if you are in Pittsburgh, get to your safe space right now as we still have this warning that is set to expire here in 20 minutes. That's 7:30 p.m. for us. It's still only here reaching the far 7. You need to get to your safe space as the storm is tracking northeast towards your neighborhood for us. Again, if you are in Pittsford right now where it is currently located right now about to impact, looking at velocity as it moves in, and very similar story as it starts to move into Pittsford for us. With our winds factored in, we are looking at rotation, storm relative when we started here, but still some indication of rotation here as it heads towards Pittsford, now leaving Jefferson and Fountain Park, who are still under that tornado warning and should still be in your safest space. If northeast towards Pittsford currently for us as it moves past Pittsford, it's going to be going towards Locust Corners for us if you're in those areas right now for us. And if we right now are looking at areas such as Pittsford and such as Locust Corners for us as it moves north towards the 127 with this storm, and I can read for you the warning 10, we saw that severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado for us located near Hudson, moving northeast at 20 miles per hour. Again, our hazard is a possible tornado for us. If you are in these areas, Locust Corners, Pittsford Forest, you need to get to your safest space for us. We're still looking at this. We are still tracking it to see if we're seeing any changes here. We're seeing a lot of the similar, still pretty faint when we're factoring in winds for us. But again, we are still watching it. It is still warned if you are in these areas in Pittsford, Locust Corners for us, you need to be getting to your safe spaces immediately. So you are still under that tornado warning and you still need to be in that safe space. Storm relative velocity factoring out the wind. Still have some of those bright greens for us here. Some still pretty strong velocity there. Again, we are starting to see it weaken from when we started this, when it was first issued. Now, again, this is 7:30 for us. We're still watching it. Again, Jefferson, Fountain Park, it's starting to move away from you. Moves off to the east. Some rain through, but you were still warned anyway, so make sure you're staying in that safe place. Pittsford, right now it is impacting you, heading right towards Locust Corners right now. Let's get a better look here. Let's get a thing. That same impact here with these larger aggregates, and you actually can see it here. This strip here as it's heading towards Pittsford, what we're mostly looking here at is hail. It's best at identifying. Starting to move northeast towards Locust Corners for us, so if you are in those areas, make sure you are in your safe spaces. Back to spectrum width, here we go. This is wind turbulence. What we're looking for here is the gust front. Actually, orange is yellow is bright, but right now we're not seeing anything. We're still looking at a lot of grays for us, so that is good to see. But if we go back to our storm relative velocity, we have an indication of rotation, moving on, and then moving towards Locust Corners for us this afternoon here in a few minutes, and I'll actually bring up a storm cone, for you to see where this is moving next. Reflectivity is back on. Go out here. We are going to take it from the most southern edge of the storm out. And again, right now we are going to move the box first. We're at the edge of the hour. End of the hour, the 7 o'clock hour, but right now that is outside of our warning tag for us. We are staying in Hillsdale County right now. No extensions have. Let's get rid of the box. Let's go a little bit further into Hillsdale County for us, and we can do another cone and get a little bit more of an exact area of where this is heading. Pittsford right now, currently 7:20 p.m., but right now you are already seeing the brunt of it as you are just there north of the area where I took the storm cone out. You are right corners. We're looking more about 7:30 p.m. for us as it then looks to extend to the most eastern part of Hillsdale County. That 7:30 mark is the same time we're looking to see this tornado warning be canceled for us. Still continuing the tornado warning here as we are going to still be looking for any damage possible from this storm move. So let me take off our storm tag for us, or a little bit further here into Pittsford. And let's bring up our velocity. Again, we're actually starting to see it again, especially compared to what we saw when we first came on the air. The winds is definitely weakening for us as it's moving across Pittsford right now across the M34. Again, if you are in those areas, including Locust Corners, make sure you're still getting to your safest space as we're still watching this. And heading now towards Beecher Road at South Pittsford Road. If you are in that area, make sure you are getting to your safe space, similar to south of there as well on South Pittsford Road at about Reading Road as well. And towards Waldron as well for us, and still the M34. Back correlation coefficient here in Pittsford. Again, not seeing any crazy debris balls for us. We are seeing in actual Pittsford as that storm moves on through for us, but again, right now we're not looking at any crazy damage indicated here from our radar. What we're looking at most likely is still that hail, and we are still going to be. So now if you are in a building, your best bet here for us is your basement if you have one, or your lowest lying area in a building, in a hallway, in a bathroom, away from the windows for us. And if you're outside and can't quickly get lying level that you can find like a ditch and cover your head with your arms for us is actually the safest way. Now let's bring back our differential reflectivity as well as, yes, we are still looking at what is most likely here and and of course, what possibly is heavy downpours as well, right along Pittsford. If you're in Pittsford right now, you need to get to your safe space. Locust Corners, it is heading your way next. You're already starting to see some of that rainfall. Here, it's moving Pittsford, still just west of South Pittsford Road, looking to cross here in a few minutes, going towards Locust Corners at Waldron Road and Beecher Road for us, and just north of Beach miles per hour. If you are along Church Road at South Waldron Street, it is also looking to head up there as well before it reaches the 127. So it is also best for you to get into your space right now, as we are in Hillsdale County Forest that has now moved away from Jefferson, moved to Eastside Forest, still looking to track along the M34 just north of M34, now looking to head to the 127 in most of our neighborhoods this evening, including Jackson, though right now staying non-severe. Let's go back to our velocity, and like I said, we are still seeing this storm really start to weaken for us. We're not seeing any of those seeing some of those bright reds away from the radar, but if we bring out back storm relative, factoring in the wind, still in Pittsford, still getting some bright greens there, flow towards the radar for us, so we are still warned. This is a capable thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado. Now, again, right now we are any damage reports right now where I'm not seeing many for us, and even on our correlation coefficient from our radar. But if we go back to our reflectivity here, you can see the storm moving northeast. And again, if you are just joining us currently, we are still tracking this tornado warning that has been issued to expire at 7:30 p.m. this evening for us, which extends, to the furthest eastern edge of Hillsdale County, including Locust Corner and Pittsford, if you were miles per hour, and is expected to expire in about 10 minutes here at 7:30 p.m. We came on for us earlier and saw some pretty strong indications here of rotation, but right now we are not seeing as many the bright reds for us, really indicating that rotation, what caused the warning to be had for us. Still looking for any damage reports as that tracked on through, but right now we didn't see on our radar anything crazy, anything like a debris ball. Very gusty winds for us, but we're going to be watching very carefully for you as we are still watching for this storm to move across. Going back to our reflectivity, right along East Beecher Road at Waldron Road, and just north heading towards East Bacon Road as well. If you were in those areas of Locust Corners, getting to your safe space right, it is heading northeast at 20 miles per hour. Driving for us in this area as well, looking to head out on the roads. It's not the best idea to get out onto the roads. If you are on the roads, what you need to do if you're under a tornado warning is to best either find very quickly a building to get in. Now again, we're tracking it. It's moving northeast at 20 miles per hour towards the 127 right now in Locust Corners for us. We can bring back up correlation coefficient to see if we see any damages here. And very similarly, we can start to see those oranges or yellows anymore system as it's in Locust Corners for us, showing us that this storm, even though it's still a little strong, it's not as impactful for us as it's moving across our neighborhood. And seeing any of the greens and reds together for us in those areas, which is a good sign. We're looking at weakening of the system right now. If we factor out the winds, let's see if we see anything similar for us. And we have a very similar radar to the next for us, but we are seeing some weaker flow here as it's moving into Locust Corners for us towards the 127. We are still under that tornado warning, though, which is set to expire here in about 6 minutes at 7. If you're still in these areas for us, Locust Corners, Pittsford, even along that 127 in Hillsdale County, make sure you're getting to your safest space. Right now, what roads are we looking at here for the storm? If we go back to the reflectivity, we can see Bacon Road for us, even also looking at some of the stronger rainfall there as well, as it is heading now towards the 127, as we're still not getting many reports here. Damage weakened quite a bit from when we first started, but we again are going to be staying on until 7:30 here in the next 5 minutes, tracking the storm that is still tornado warned in Michigan. We do have rain here for us. Right now we are still tracking this tornado warning that is tagged for portions of Hillsdale County, still from Jefferson going all the way over to Locust Corners for us towards the 127 right there where that polygon ends for us, capable of producing a tornado for us. Now again, we've seen it quite weaken, the same cell weaken as it's tracked northeast, but again, it's best to stay safe. If you're still stay in windows, get away from those windows. If you are just joining us again, we are still tracking this tornado warning that is right now with the storm in Locust Corners for us. And have seen this system quite weaken as we have tracked it across Hillsdale County for us, moving northeast at 20 miles per hour. And again, what we're looking at here is a thunderstorm capable of producing a thunderstorm. But if we go weaken a bit, as you can see there, we don't have those bright greens right next to bright reds showing us that indication anymore. We're looking at a thunderstorm tracking northeast. Still best to stay safe, but we are still under this warning. If we weak indications still here, we are most likely waiting out this warning, which is set to expire here in just a few minutes at 7:30 p.m. Right now it's 7:26 as we've been tracking this across as it heads east across, approaching the 127. We are looking at Locust Corners. If you are on Beecher Road at South Waldron, excuse me, you are looking to get to your safest space. South Waldron at Church Road, excuse me, same story, and then now it is just west of the 127 for us, where that is the furthest east edge of Hillsdale County for us, which is 7:30, currently 7:27. We're still watching for it again, though. Church Road at South Waldron and Beecher Road at South Waldron. Right now, get to your safest spaces. The brunt of that storm is there in Locust Corners currently. And if I go and look for any storm reports, we're not seeing much right now. We're not getting a lot of damage reports here on our radar from our correlation coefficient, as you can see here, to where our correlation coefficient, where the storm is at. We're not seeing a big debris ball for us as it moves across, which shows that widespread, larger non-meteorological targets being swept